All right, hey, let's check in with KIMT Storm Alert Weather 3 Chief Meteorologist Sarah Knox. Now, Sarah, are you able to talk about kind of the chance that we have seeing the lunar eclipse tomorrow? Is that
tricky? It's tricky to say because as of right now, we are going to have decreasing clouds throughout the day, but then they're looking like they could come back as we get into the evening. Relatively cloudy week, relatively active week we've got coming our way, starting with even tonight. Live look over Mason City, a little tricky to see. I'm trying to see if I can see anything of that wintry mix coming down, freezing rain, even just a little bit of drizzle. Like I said, tricky to see, but what I believe is happening here is we got those little ice crystals higher up in the atmosphere, so maybe we're seeing some of the reflection of the lights below. Again, only so much you can see when it comes to the live eyes, especially at night. But temperatures right now in Mason City are a degree above the freezing point here on the surface, 33. So what may be coming from the sky may be more on that frozen side, but when it hits the ground or comes closer to the surface here, probably showing signs of melting, changing into just more liquid. And that is the big deal as we come into the night. The temperatures, where are they going to fall? How warm are we going to stay? How cold are we going to get? Well, we're right at the freezing point at 32 in Rochester, and we see Forest City Garner also right at the freezing point. So now when we move over to satellite and radar, it's also important to note that the radar beam is a little higher, so it's pointing a little higher into the atmosphere versus right at the surface, especially a little further away from some of the beams as we get closer to places like Cerro Gordo County. So when we see some of this pink, doesn't necessarily mean that all of this is ice coming down, but it still is a nice warning to let us know that, hey, we should be probably careful if we're waking up tomorrow morning, some of this moved through. If temperatures don't go back up, we could get a few patchy slick spots. Generally, though, it's a little misty out there. I think that's the best way to describe it. And as we can see, Futurecast is keeping temperatures above the freezing point in Mason City. It's also not necessarily picking up on as much of the precipitation that we are seeing currently, but at the same time, we have some drier air working in. You see, there's a lot of different variables here. Long story short, as we go through the overnight, this chance does look to stay mainly south of I-90, a little bit maybe in the tail end as we head into early Tuesday morning, but it will be out of here for the most part as we do get into the latter half of our Tuesday. Things have changed when it comes to the probability of a glaze. We're talking a very light, thin layer of ice. So you can see some of us are now in the medium range with that chance. That's why I'm saying things could be a little iffy tomorrow morning on the roadways, a few patchy slick spots, especially on less traveled roads. But then after that, as the temperatures rise, a lot of that should melt away. And temperatures will be rising. As you can see, many of us getting back into the 40s, nearing 50 further to the north. It doesn't end there. We continue to stay above average all the way until we head into the next work week, Ryan, when we flip the switch from spring back to winter. But talk about spring. Look at those temperatures.
crazy stuff? All right, Sarah, thank you.